My husband told his sister, "Don't worry, if she doesn't agree to share the baby, I'll fix it." I found those messages when I was 8 months pregnant. 4 weeks later, I gave birth, called a lawyer from my hospital bed, and made sure my sister-in-law never got within 10 feet of my child again. Before I get into it, if you like long Reddit-style stories about toxic in-laws, entitlement, legal revenge, and quiet, well-planned karma, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. We're still trying to hit our first 1,000 subscribers, and your support really helps the channel grow and reach more people who love full stories like this. All right, here's how my husband and his family tried to turn me into an unpaid surrogate for his sister, and how it blew up in their faces. I'm 30F. My now ex-husband, Adam, is 33M. We'd been together for 6 years, married for 4 when all of this went down. His sister, Claire, is 35F, married to Tom, 36M. When I met Adam, one of the first things I learned about his family was that they were close. Not Sunday dinner sometimes close. I mean group chat, shared locations, unannounced visits. We don't keep secrets in this family close. At first it was charming. His parents were warm, his sister was funny. They welcomed me in immediately. Family is everything to us. His mom said the first time I had dinner at their house, "We'd do anything for each other." I thought that meant support and love. I didn't realize it also meant no boundaries and a very flexible definition of your life versus our life. Claire at that time had been married to Tom for a couple of years. I learned fairly early that they were struggling with fertility. Multiple rounds of IVF, miscarriages, failed transfers. It was heartbreaking. I genuinely felt for her. She cried to me once at a barbecue after a couple of glasses of wine. "It's like my body is broken," she sobbed. "Being a mom is all I ever wanted, and now even that's too much to ask." I hugged her. I meant it when I said I hoped it worked out. I would never wish that pain on anyone. The problem wasn't that Claire was hurting. The problem was how my in-laws decided to deal with her pain. They turned it into a moral obligation for everyone else. Every family dinner my mother-in-law would talk about when Claire finally had her miracle baby. If someone else announced a pregnancy in the extended family, there were tears, then anger. "It should have been Claire," she'd say. "She deserves it more. She suffered enough." Fast forward a few years. Adam and I did the responsible thing. We waited until our careers were stable, saved up a down payment, bought a small house. We talked about kids in the abstract, a someday, when we're ready kind of thing. Then one summer, that someday became a faint second line on a pregnancy test. I found out I was pregnant completely by surprise. We hadn't been trying, but we also hadn't been not trying as carefully as before. I stared at the test in the bathroom and felt a weird mix of fear and joy. I told Adam that night, sitting on the couch, hands shaking. He laughed, pulled me into a hug, spun me around. "We're going to be parents," he said into my hair. "This is amazing." For the first couple of weeks, it was just hours. We went on late-night walks talking about names, schools, what kind of parents we wanted to be. I got used to the idea. I started feeling excited. Then we told his family. We invited them over for dinner, did the whole cutesy bun in the oven reveal. His mom screamed, burst into tears. His dad hugged Adam, clapping him on the back. And Claire froze. She forced a smile, but her eyes were already shiny. "Wow," she said, "that's big news." I felt guilty. I knew this would hurt. I tried to be sensitive, keeping the focus on "we're nervous" instead of "we're thrilled." But my mother-in-law immediately turned to Claire. "See," she said, "this is a sign. The next baby will be yours. God wouldn't let Adam have one if yours wasn't coming too." The air got weird. Claire's jaw tightened. Tom put a hand on her shoulder, but she shrugged it off. They left early that night. I cried after they went. I told Adam, I feel like I stole something from her just by existing. He hugged me. You didn't steal anything, he said. This isn't a competition. They'll deal. This is our baby. I wanted to believe him. The next few months, the pregnancy progressed. Nausea, ultrasounds, doctor appointments. On my side, things were normal. On the in-law side, things got stranger. My mother-in-law started referring to the baby as our little miracle, which, okay, fine. But she also started saying things like, "This baby will help heal Claire. She's going to be so involved. It'll be like her baby too." At every appointment she'd ask, "Did you talk to Claire about what role she's going to play? She'll be like a second mommy." I'd laugh awkwardly. "I mean, she'll be an aunt," I'd say. "A very involved aunt, sure." His mom would frown, like I'd missed the script. Adam brushed it off as Mom being dramatic. He told me not to stress. Claire's behavior was more unsettling. Sometimes she was intensely interested. She'd text me at random. "Send bump pics. What stroller are you getting? Are you going to breastfeed? If not, we can help with formula costs." Other times she'd be cold and distant, making snide remarks. "Must be nice when your body cooperates," she'd say. Or, "Some people get everything without even trying." I tried to keep empathy at the forefront. I reminded myself she was grieving something deep and primal. I let a lot slide. Then my baby shower happened. My best friend and my sister organized it at our house. They did a wonderful job: decorations, food, cute games. They invited my family, Adam's family, a few friends. I expected it to be awkward for Claire. I wasn't prepared for what she did. My friend had set up a wishes for baby table where guests could write advice or hopes on little cards. They were sweet. "I hope you always feel loved. I hope you get your dad's laugh," that kind of thing. When I sat down later to read them, one card made my stomach drop. In Claire's handwriting, "I hope you always know how loved you are by all your parents." I tried to brush it off as poetic or she meant family, but it sat wrong. Then, as the shower was winding down, I overheard her talking to one of her cousins in the kitchen. "At least I'll finally get some baby time," she was saying. "It won't be exactly the same, but close. Tom and I talked about it. We'll basically co-parent. It takes a village, right?" The cousin murmured something I couldn't hear. Claire laughed. "Honestly, I'll probably have the baby more than they do," she said. "They both work. I work from home. It just makes sense." I stepped back before she saw me. My heart was hammering. That night, I told Adam exactly what I'd heard. "That's weird," he admitted. "I'll talk to her. She's not co-parenting our kid. She's the aunt." He said the right words, but something in his tone made me uneasy, like he was more worried about upsetting Claire than about the boundary itself. Third trimester hit. I was huge, tired, swollen. Every time we saw his family, there was some new comment about how this will be hardest on Claire, but we all have to be patient. Patient with what exactly was never clarified. At around 32 weeks, I had mild complications. Nothing dangerous, just enough to put me on modified bed rest. My OB told me to take it easy, limit stress. Stress laughed in her face and moved in permanently. One afternoon, while Adam was in the shower, his phone buzzed on the nightstand. Normally, I don't go through people's phones, but the preview on the lock screen caught my eye. "Claire, did you talk to her about the plan yet?" My stomach dropped. I shouldn't look, I thought. Then another text came in right under it. "Claire, she needs to understand I'm not asking. This is what has to happen. I can't handle another loss." My heart was pounding. I picked up the phone and opened the thread. I scrolled. What I saw made my hands shake. Weeks of messages. Weeks of Adam and Claire discussing the plan like I was a side character. Claire, you know it's not fair if you get a kid and I don't. Adam, it's not about fair, Claire. Claire, Mom said you agree I should have primary time. You and me can have weekends. Adam, we can't just give you our baby. Claire, I'm not saying give, I'm saying share. You guys aren't even as baby people as me. Further down. Claire, if she breastfeeds, it will screw everything up. You need to convince her to pump or do formula so we can all take turns. Adam, I can't control how she feeds the baby. Claire, you're her husband. If you don't back me up, you're choosing her over your own sister. And then the message that made me feel physically ill. Claire, I swear if she doesn't agree to this, I will lose my mind. I cannot watch someone else raise the baby I was supposed to have. She owes me. Adam, don't worry. If she doesn't agree to share, I'll fix it. This family sticks together. She'll come around. He would fix it. I sat there, 8 months pregnant, reading my husband talking about me like I was an incubator he needed to manage, not a person. I don't know how long I sat before he came out of the shower. I must have looked wrecked, because his face changed immediately. "What's wrong?" he asked. I held up his phone. "Did you talk to her about the plan yet?" I read aloud. "What plan, Adam?" Color drained from his face. "Okay," he said slowly, "calm down." "Don't you dare tell me to calm down," I snapped. "What plan exactly? The plan where your sister gets primary time and we share my child. The plan where you fix it if I don't agree. Explain it to me like I'm not the one carrying this baby." He ran a hand through his hair. "You weren't supposed to see that yet," he said, which was absolutely the wrong answer. "Yet," I said. "There was going to be a right time for you to tell your pregnant wife she's an involuntary surrogate." He bristled. "That's not what this is," he said. "You're being dramatic. Claire is in pain. She's basically broken inside from everything she's gone through. Mom thinks." "I do not care what your mother thinks," I cut in. "What do you think?" He hesitated. That hesitation told me everything. "I think," he said slowly, "that we have an opportunity to help my sister. It's not like we'd never see the baby." "Our baby," I said. "I am the one pregnant. There is no we donating this child. There is no opportunity to hand my kid over to your sister as a consolation prize." He started pacing. "You're misunderstanding," he said. "No one is talking about adoption. It would just be Claire having more time. Maybe the baby sleeps there some nights. Maybe she's there during the week while we work. You're overreacting." "Your sister wrote she owes me," I said. "You wrote I'll fix it. That is not more time. That is you planning to gang up on me until I give up my mother role." He exploded then. "Well, what do you expect us to do?" he yelled. "Watch Claire fall apart while you parade around with a baby like you didn't just stumble into getting pregnant on the first try. She's my sister. I can't just abandon her." "You're supposed to be my husband," I said quietly, "not her fertility solution." We fought for hours. He swung between guilt trips. "You're cruel to her," minimization. "It was just talk, nothing decided," and emotional blackmail. "If you make me choose between you and my sister, you won't like the answer." By the end of it, I was shaking and exhausted. My obs avoid stress, ringing in my ears. I went to sleep in the guest room that night, one hand on my stomach, whispering to the baby, "I will protect you. I don't know how yet, but I will." The next day, I called my sister, who lives out of state but is my closest person in the world. I told her everything between sobs. Her response was simple. "You need a lawyer," she said. "Now, before the baby comes, and you need to stop telling Adam your plans." It sounded extreme. Then I thought about Adam texting, "I'll fix it," like I was a scheduling issue. I made an appointment with a family lawyer for future planning. I paid in cash under my maiden name. I felt paranoid and dramatic. Then I showed her the screenshots. She did not think I was dramatic. "This is bad," she said, "for them. Good for you that you have it in writing." She walked me through my options. She explained custody basics, grandparents' rights, or lack thereof in our state. What would happen if I left? What would happen if I stayed? She said something that stuck. "Right now, while you are pregnant and married, you and your husband have equal rights to this child the moment it's born. If he tries anything stupid, like taking the baby to his sister's and refusing to return, police might treat it as a civil matter until a court order is in place. You need to be the one prepared, not them." We quietly drew up a separation plan, contingent, not yet filed, and a petition for temporary sole custody in case of parental alienation or interference by third parties. The lawyer also told me to document everything, comments, threats, weird behavior, so I did. Dates, times, exact quotes. At home, things were tense. I stopped attending family dinners. When his mom asked why, Adam said, "She's tired." When Claire texted me asking why I'd gone cold, I replied with neutral emojis and "just busy." I did not tell Adam I'd seen a lawyer. I did tell him one thing clearly. If anyone tries to take my baby somewhere without my explicit consent, I will call the police and it will be kidnapping. I don't care if it's you, your sister, or your mother. This is not a group project. He rolled his eyes but didn't argue, out loud anyway. Fast forward to 38 weeks. I went into labor at 3 a.m. contractions, chaos, grabbing the hospital bag. Adam drove me to the hospital, hands shaking on the wheel, muttering, "Okay, okay, this is happening." In the delivery room, it was just us and the medical team. Hospital policy didn't allow extra family, which, for once, I was grateful for. After hours of labor, our daughter, Sophie, was born. They placed her on my chest, tiny and perfect and very, very real. I cried, Adam cried. For a brief, suspended moment, it was just us, and I thought, maybe he'll snap out of it. Maybe this will override whatever nonsense his family has built up in his head. Then the nurse asked, "Do you want skin to skin with Dad too?" And he said, "Yeah, but we need to make sure my sister gets some too. She's basically like a second mom." The nurse blinked. "Only parents are allowed in recovery," she said. He looked offended. "Well, that's outdated," he said. "We're sharing, it takes a village." The nurse gave him the kind of look only nurses can. "The village can wait in the waiting room," she said. "Right now, it's Mom and Dad." I latched onto that, literally and metaphorically. I told the staff only Adam was allowed as a visitor and later only my family. I did not put his family on the approved list yet. I said it was too overwhelming for me. The nurses nodded. They'd seen things. A few hours later, when I finally checked my phone, I saw the group chat. His mom, his dad, Claire blowing it up. "When can we come? We're in the lobby. Bring her down so we can meet her. We're dying out here." I took a breath and typed, "Hey, recovery is rough. No visitors yet. We'll let you know when we're ready. Please respect that." Within seconds, Claire sent, "Are you serious right now? I've waited years for this." His mom added, "We're your family. We deserve to meet her first. Tom's parents are literally in the car ready to come too." Tom's parents for my baby, on day one. I put my phone face down and told Adam, "If they show up uninvited to this room, I will ask security to remove them." "You can't do that," he said. "Watch me," I replied. Things escalated that evening. My mother and sister arrived. They live a couple hours away. They came in quietly, cried happy tears, took a few photos, then left early so I could rest. They didn't post anything. They didn't blast group chats. They behaved like normal humans. An hour after they left, a nurse came in. There's a woman at the front desk saying she's the baby's co-mother and demanding access, she said slowly. We told her that's not a thing and that she's not listed as a visitor. I just wanted to check if you want to add anyone. My blood ran cold. What's her name? I asked, already knowing. Claire, the nurse said. I laughed. It came out a little hysterical. Absolutely not, I said. Only my husband. And honestly, if he doesn't get on board with that, he can leave too. The nurse smiled slightly. Got it, she said. We'll handle it. I don't know exactly what went down at the front desk, but I know security ended up escorting his family out of the maternity floor that night. I could hear raised voices from down the hallway, Claire yelling something about my baby and rights as an aunt. A nurse closed my door gently. The next morning, Adam was in a mood. You humiliated my family, he said. They tried to force their way into my recovery room and claim my newborn, I said. They humiliated themselves. He stormed out to get coffee and was gone for a suspiciously long time. While he was gone, I did something my lawyer had advised, just in case. I called her from my hospital bed. I updated her on everything. The texts, the attempted co-mother claim, the scene in the hallway. She was quiet for a beat. Okay, she said. We're going to file that temporary custody petition today. I'll list these incidents as evidence of interference and emotional distress. Do you feel safe going home with him? I looked at my sleeping baby. No, I said, not really. Then don't, she said. If you can, go home with your mom or sister. We'll request that he only see the baby with your consent until the hearing. Without an order, he technically has equal rights, but if you have the baby with you and he tries to take her, you call the police and show them the petition and the texts. It felt like war planning, but I was already under attack. When Adam came back, I was dressed, the baby in the bassinet, my bag packed. They're discharging us this afternoon, I said. My mom is picking us up. He frowned. Us, he asked. Why are you talking like I'm not involved? I'm her father. You're also the person who told your sister you'd fix it if I didn't share this baby, I said. So until we have a plan in place that protects me and her, I'm going to where I feel safe. He stared at me like he didn't recognize me. You're taking my child, he said slowly. I am leaving the hospital with my newborn to recover at my mother's house, I said. You are welcome to visit her there with my consent. You are not welcome to take her anywhere near your sister. He opened his mouth to argue. I pulled out my phone and showed him an email. This is from my lawyer, I said. We've filed for temporary custody and legal separation. If you want to fight me, we can do it in front of a judge. But understand this. The judge is going to see every message where you discussed handing our child over to your sister like she's a shared pet. He went pale. You got a lawyer, he whispered. Of course I did, I said. You did. I never hired one, he said weakly. You consulted one about how to take my baby if I refuse treatment, I said. Don't play dumb. You're not the only one who can play the long game. The car ride to my mom's was quiet. He followed us there in his own car, hovered awkwardly for an hour, then left when my mom made it clear he would not be taking the baby anywhere for a drive to meet the family. The next few weeks were rough. Postpartum recovery plus a separation is not something I'd wish on anyone, but I had support, my mom, my sister, my friends. Adam texted often, alternating between guilt, you're keeping my daughter from me, manipulation, Claire is devastated, how can you do this to her, and faux enlightenment, we can make an agreement without lawyers, you're overreacting. Everything went through my lawyer. When his family blasted me in the group chat, calling me selfish, heartless, cruel, I forwarded it all to my attorney. She added it to the file. The custody hearing was scheduled faster than I expected, partly because of the newborn, partly because the judge did not like the smell of third-party interference when he saw the initial filing. In court, Adam's lawyer tried to spin it as a miscommunication. "My client's sister has experienced significant fertility trauma," he said. "There were emotional conversations about her being very involved, perhaps even acting as a nanny, but there was never any real plan to take the child away from the mother." My lawyer calmly put printed screenshots on the table. "Then why did Mr. Smith tell his sister, 'If she doesn't agree to share, I'll fix it'?" she asked. "Why did the sister write, 'She owes me'? Why did the sister show up at the hospital claiming to be the baby's co-mother? Why did security have to escort her out?" Adam looked like he wanted to disappear. The judge turned to him. "Mr. Smith," he said, "what did you mean by 'I'll fix it'?" Adam stammered something about convincing my wife and mediating. The judge was unimpressed. "You don't mediate a mother out of her own child's life," he said. "At best, this is extreme insensitivity to your wife's autonomy. At worst, it's collusion to undermine her parental rights." In the end, the judge granted me temporary sole physical custody, with Adam having scheduled visitation at my mother's house, supervised by me or my mom, pending family counseling and his completion of a parenting class. The judge also issued a clear order. No third party, not Mr. Smith's sister, not his parents, shall act in loco parentis in place of a parent, or make decisions regarding the child without Ms. My last name's explicit consent. Leaving the courthouse that day, baby strapped to my chest, I felt like I could finally breathe. The fallout in his family was nuclear. His mother called me, sobbing, saying, "How could you do this to us? You've turned our son into a villain." I said calmly, "He did that himself when he tried to trade my kid for his sister's feelings." Claire posted a long, vague Facebook status about some women weaponizing their fertility and keeping children away from those who truly deserve them. Several mutual friends messaged me privately to ask what really happened. I sent them a short version. I found messages where Adam and Claire planned to make me share my baby. I protected myself and my child. Most of them backed away from the drama. A few unfriended Claire. Over the next year, Adam and I tried co-parenting. He did his parenting class. We went to a few joint counseling sessions, mostly for the sake of having a paper trail showing I'd tried. In therapy, he admitted what I already knew. He felt trapped between two women, and instead of setting boundaries with his sister, he tried to appease her at my expense. "I thought you'd eventually see it as a good thing," he said once, "like free childcare." "I am not renting my daughter out as emotional support," I replied. "Find a babysitter." We finalized the divorce when Sophie was about 14 months old. I kept the house. He moved into an apartment across town. Custody settled into a pattern. He has her every other weekend, a dinner during the week, holidays split. Claire sees Sophie during his time as an aunt under clear boundaries. She is not allowed unsupervised sleepovers or to call herself co-mom. One slip and we go back to court. Therapy helped me unpack the rage and grief. Because underneath the legal victories, it still hurt that the person who vowed to put me first was willing to sacrifice my motherhood on the altar of his family's dysfunction. But it also taught me something important. I am not selfish for protecting my child. I am not cruel for refusing to be an involuntary surrogate for someone else's pain. Claire's infertility is tragic. It is not my fault, and it is definitely not my daughter's job to fix it. Now Sophie is a chubby, loud, delightful toddler who knows me as mom, and when she sees Claire, runs to her yelling, "Auntie." That's the relationship I wanted for them, not this twisted co-parent fantasy my in-laws tried to build. Sometimes, late at night, I think back to that first shower where my mother-in-law said, "We'd do anything for each other." I believe now that she meant it. The difference is, I'm willing to do anything to protect my daughter, even if it means doing nothing for them. Thanks for listening to my story. If you made it this far, don't forget to hit the like button. Tell me in the comments what you would have done when you saw those messages, and subscribe to the channel. We post long Reddit-style stories about relationships, family drama, and revenge every day, and your support helps us reach our first 1,000 subscribers.